All right. Welcome back to the channel. This is Tyrell from the Nosebleeds. I was not expecting to do a live video today at all, but Jerry Jones and the Green Bay Packers have decided to make some news as I was adjusting everything, trying to get everything situated. Um, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna walk away for about a couple minutes. I'm gonna switch out my safety goggles. Literally just got home. Literally just got home. Did some grocery shopping after I got off work. Just got home to see the news. So we're gonna react to that very fast and try to piece this together. So I'll be right back. Give me like 30 seconds. All right. So news just broke probably about 10 minutes ago that the Green Bay Packers, 10, 20 minutes ago, give or take, that the Green Bay Packers have traded for Micah Parsons and then proceeded to give him a 4-year contract extension. I believe that 4 years, $188 million contract extension. Like I said, the rule of the channel is the only time I will mention money is when a contract extension does happen. 136 of that guaranteed. There are no other details about this trade so far that I know of as of right now. As this is coming in, so I'm gonna be a little bit pausing here for this as you know, as the details come in. Right now, going on X, Twitter, whatever it may be, and let's see. Let's check in Rappaport and see. This is a huge trade. This trade, this trade actually it kind of reminds me of it kind of reminds me of the Khalil Mack trade back in like 2018, 2019. That's exactly what this reminds me of. Um, we kind of suspected it could potentially happen. We know about the contract talks breaking down. We know about the situation that Micah wanted to get deal done. Then he said contact his agents. Jerry Jones felt disrespected. And now we are talking about a trade that Micah Parsons is indeed a Green Bay Packer. Now, if you guys had checked out NFC uh my NFC previews in general or any of the previews which are in a playlist, um I talked about this. I didn't talk about this because as I was recording the NFC East preview prediction, like right in the middle of my recording, it broke that Michael Parsons had requested a trade. Now that was earlier this month. So now it is the end of the month. Regular season about to start. Michael Parsons traded. He wanted money. He wanted to be one of the highest paid players. Michael Parsons is now the highest paid non-quarterback player in the entire league. So this is huge. This is huge. And I remember having when I did the NFC North preview, I had the Green Bay Packers going like 10-7. Actually, matter of fact, let me flip through my notes here. Because I still have my notes. I never filed them away because I've done other preview shows since then. Um, so I remember having the Dallas. Let's talk about what I had Green Bay going as I flip through my notes here. Just bear with me for a moment because this is just like I said. I literally just walked through the door. Like I literally just got home. Like I had just backed in into my parking spot. I had just unlocked the door. I was bringing my groceries in, all the really important ones. And I just said to myself, I said, okay, I'm gonna, put these groceries away. I kind of have a meal planned out for next week. I was gonna get that ready and play a little Minecraft before I decided to go to the gym and work out and maybe do a little bit more grocery shopping that I wasn't able to do in this short amount of time because I don't like being in crowded stores. So I had the Green Bay Packers, and I got it here. I had the Green Bay Packers going 10-7, and that was prior to the Micah Parsons trade. That was after Micah Parsons trade request. And yeah, I think with this deal, Green Bay becomes one of the best teams in the entire league. Like I know it's just one player, but it's Micah fucking Parsons. Um Now I think I was a little skeptical about the 10-7 um preview record that I gave them, especially like I know they added some weapons for Jordan Love. I know that they had brought in Isaiah Simmons to be that linebacker for them. So now you can bring in Isaiah Simmons, put Isaiah Simmons on the other side, or even have him come in on third downs or whatever it may be. Um, so I thought the Packers had a solid offseason and had a solid base to build upon, and now they just gotten even better. Now they compete with Detroit. Now they compete with Minnesota if JJ McCarthy plays good. 10-7. I don't even have them going. I have them now going 12-5, maybe even 13-4. I think with this Michael Parsons deal, I think the Green Bay Packers just became one of the best teams in the entire league. Micah Parsons does that, and this defense is already a pretty solid defense, right? And now they get to add a superstar that we all know can produce. I don't think Micah Parsons is one of those guys that got his contract extension and is now going to play like shit. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's do this while I talk. Just bear with me for a moment. What we're gonna do is we're gonna look up the Green Bay Packers defensive stats last year. And let's see how we believe that's gonna rank up to this year, even with Micah Parsons um coming on over to the Green Bay Packers. Like I said, I'm trying to gather my thoughts about this. It's I'm stunned. I'm stunned. I know earlier today they talked about, you know, the news first broke that okay, well the Dallas Cowboys were interested in now listening to talks about yeah, they were now thinking about listening to talks, or they were going to listen to talks about trading Micah Parsons. And Green Bay, they had a good season last year. 11-6 was a good season. Good season. They finished third because they played with in the same division as Minnesota and Detroit. And as I scroll through here, this is a bunch of individual stats here. I'm trying to see where, and right now I'm on profootballreference.com, and that's giving me their um their player stats. I want to look up the entire team stat. Like I said, just bear with me as I kind of go through this. Let's see. Like I said, a lot of pause in between, but that's okay. And the Green Bay has been known as a good defensive team over the last few years. Not like one of the quote unquote elite ones, but you know that they're going to be one of the better defenses in the league. So they finished fifth in total defense last year. And matter of fact, let's go ahead and screen share this. Let's go to screen share this. We're gonna get this off of here. So they finished fifth in total defense, sixth in scoring, 15.1 points per game. They had their best performance in 15 years, ranking fifth in the league for rushing yards per game, tied for sixth with 40 sacks. So they had 40 sacks last year without Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons, if we look up his stats, and hopefully the screen is not black for you guys. We're gonna look up Micah Parsons 2024 stats. And he had 12 sacks last year. So he's going to add 12 more sacks to the Green Bay Packers defense. This should make their run defense even better. And this should just make their defense overall better. This is insane. They finished with the fifth best defense in the league. And now they just added one of the best defensive players in the entire league. Just add one of the best defensive players in the entire league. So how can I not sit back and say this team that went 11-6 was overshadowed by the success of Detroit, the success of the Minnesota Vikings? How can I not now sit back and say this is going to be one of the best teams in the league? they have made themselves from playoff contenders and maybe your dark horse to make a solid run into the playoffs. This move has made the Green Bay Packers a Super Bowl contender, in my opinion. And the Green Bay Packers had the guts, they had the balls to sit back and say, you know what? Y'all want to trade him away? We going whatever we got to offer you, we're gonna offer you it without hurting us too much. Still waiting on the details of what they got. Okay, so the Cowboys gets Kenny Clark and two number ones. They get Kenny Clark and two number ones. So let's go ahead and look up Kenny Clark's season last year. And Dallas gets an interior defensive lineman. So if you think about it from just a logistics on paper standpoint, them getting Kenny Clark, they get a defensive player in return, and they get two number ones from Green Bay. Now, I think those two number ones are going to be low. They're definitely going to be um they're going to be like in the bottom 10 of the first round picks or whatever it may be. So let's go ahead and screen share this again. Let's look at Kenny Clark's. I mean, this is insane. This is insane. I think this a top 5 defense last year. Amazing. So out of 17 games played, uh this is going to be Kenny's 9th season. 37 total tackles, 20 of them were solo tackles, and he had a sack. So, and I know Kenny's more player, like in a sense of like he's not gonna make you a lot of tackles, but he's there to like plug in the gaps to help with the run defense, and it showed, throughout the season last year. And he was, to me, in my opinion, one of the integral parts and why they had a top 5 run defense last year. So it's just I have no words to say um other than shocked, stunned, um just like I said, I'm trying to process all of this. I think everybody's trying to process all of this. I know more people are better at cut with the words up front than I am, but overall, I mean, this is a huge thing. And I'll tell you this, I think a lot of people who were paying attention to this ordeal that was going on between Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboys, and Micah Parsons, especially that interview that Jerry Jones did. We saw this happening. We saw this happening. Um so yeah, it's just crazy. So what we're gonna do is I'm trying to figure out what's next. Okay. So this is from Get Up. He did the interview with Get Up, with ESPN. Goose Ducky uploaded this about now. Yeah, this was around this time last week. So again, this is all for ESPN Get Up. We're gonna screen share. Hopefully, it's not black for you guys. I know, like towards the end of the stream, it was like a black screen. So hopefully, it's not that. And let's go ahead and screen share this. Let's hear what Jerry Jones had to say about negotiating a contract based off this 1 minute clip.
Not mother dad deal. How many times have you seen the little rascal so clever go in there and mama told him, you're not going to get it. And goes in to daddy, who only sees him at after afternoon, wants to love him, and says, you can have it, son. You can have that before dinner. And he goes back in and says, mama, daddy said I could have it. That's the old mom, dad, been around since the beginning of time. I'm not going. That's what's happening.
You're not going for it.
I'm not going to a very, very strong negotiation. Now, by the way, frankly, it wouldn't have made any difference what the negotiation was. Guess who has to be comfortable for this to work?
Micah.
And who else?
You.
Hello. There's not room for a third. There's not room for a third. It's a.
All right, heard that. And essentially, Jerry Jones is like, I'm not gonna play this game with anybody. He's kind of always been like that, even when with CD Lamb, like what was last year or a couple of years ago. I think that was last year because that was around the time that the Browns was playing the Cowboys, and that was opening up the season last year. So so yeah, a little bit surprising here. And actually, somebody on Reddit. So this was actually reported. I guess I missed this where it was reported. Um, it was hearsay that the Packers are going to make this deal and have a new contract extension. So that clearly happened. The Packers were ready to strike and make this deal. Um, I think that clip being aired could have changed everything as well. I know Michael was kind of um he was already frustrated with the situation. I know he wanted to wanted to he wanted to essentially like get paid high. He didn't like how things were going, and so he sent his agent in because I know at first the contract negotiations between um between Micah and Jerry wasn't the best. And that's when Micah decided to add his agent. Jerry Jones didn't like that. But let's talk about Jerry Jones real quick, okay? And the reason why we're going to talk about Jerry Jones, okay, is because I, I- I'm just trying to figure this out. Like, before we get into that, I just found this video again about a week ago. Again, I think this is before the Stephen A. Smith interview with Jerry Jones talking to Michael Irvin. Let's go ahead and review this 2-minute clip. This was uploaded onto Reddit by Burn Sanders. We're gonna go ahead and review this clip, and then let's go ahead and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about my thoughts on Jerry Jones, my opinions on Jerry Jones as well.
I'm not hinting uh, uh, the world would know that I want Micah if they knew what I had offered him, and he knows what I offered him. So the world would know that I want Micah to play on the team and that I respect him for what he can bring to the team. And now, as it turns out, in this particular case, you say, well, what happens? Well, what happens is that we have a contract, and there's this year remaining under the contract. And then in the NFL, I get at our volition to extend that contract another year. We'll pay him like a franchise and another one after that. So we really got 3 years to work this thing out. And it's a basic contract that's there to go. And I did that with Dak, and we couldn't agree. So Dak played his last year of his contract, and then we franchised him. And so it's exactly what happened with Dak. And we moved forward. And of course, ultimately, we got a contract, made Dak the highest paid player in the NFL. So the president is handling it like Dak. But in the case, then Micah comes in, and if it doesn't, it's very costly for everybody. Just a little similar to what happened when we didn't sign Emmett, and we didn't do well our first 2 games. He was an integral part of what we were doing. But at that particular time,
All right. So we just looked at that. It was about a minute and 45 on that. So before I talk about Jerry Jones as well, let's go ahead and look up Dallas's defense last year based off their rankings. Um and this is what I'm thinking about too. What does this do to Brian Schottenheimer as well? Like this is insane. This is insane. So that makes his job tougher. And clearly, like, yes, they got Kenny, and they proceeded to get 2 first-round picks. But this doesn't help Brian Schottenheimer up front. This does not help Brian Schottenheimer up front. So it's it's insane. It's insane. So let's go ahead and look up Dallas. Where did Dallas rank last year as far as defense goes? As we look this up, like I said, usually I have this stuff pulled up before I even, you know, even like, before I even get on live or do a video or anything like that. So As we can see here, we're gonna screen share here, and then we're gonna look at Ian Rappaport's what Ian Rappaport uploaded on Twitter. All of this is fair use. Any video in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finished in the bottom 5 in total year. They yeah, they finished. Yeah, this is because they gave up 355 yards a game. They gave up let's go ahead and click on their page real quick. So I don't know. I just think with everything going on with Dallas, you would think that he would go ahead and do his best to sign, get him to sign or try to do something. It's just we don't know how much money he did offer him. We don't know. We do not know. And that's the thing that nobody seems to, or I'm gonna stop screen sharing so I really know what I want to look for. Um you lose a generational player like that, it's not good. And this is one of those things where again, like I said, it's the Khalil Mack thing all over again for me when I first talked about this when I first got on. And and Raiders fans agree with me, disagree with me, whatever it may be. Um, this kind of feels like it feels like the Raiders are still trying to recover from the Khalil Mack trade. Like I know that was like 6, 7 years ago, but I mean the Raiders didn't really do a lot with that, and they're still trying to like find. I mean they got Max Crosby obviously, but it took them a while to recover from that, and they really haven't since now. I mean, granted, the Bears didn't wasted Khalil Mack as well. But I don't think that would be the case for Micah Parsons. I think Micah Parsons fit right into this defense. I think he's going to contribute to the defense immediately. And I also think that the Green Bay Packers just went from the fifth best defense to one of the to a top 3 defense in the entire league. If especially if Micah Parsons stay healthy. So let's see, we can do this. See, that's Fox Sports. Because usually they go off of like your average total yards given up to. I don't know why. Sometimes I have a hard time finding what I'm actually wanting to look for. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and screen share that, and then we'll talk about Ian Rappaport and all that stuff. So again, finishing about 28th ranked in defense, allowing 355.2 yards per game. They finished with 710 record, 31st in points allowed, allowing 468 points. Defensively had 52 sacks for the season. That ranked them third. That's gonna go down. So it's gonna be like a flip flop thing based off of last year. Micah Parsons had 12 sacks, led the team with that. Those 12 sacks go right to Green Bay, and they might even lose more now. With Micah Parsons there, and oh look, what's going on in Dallas? Like I don't get it. I don't get it. And Dallas, any Dallas fans out there, if you guys want to jump in on this and let me know what you guys think as well, and your 2 cents on it, that would be much appreciated as well. So we're gonna go ahead, and Ian Rappaport just uploaded his segment over from NFL from the NFL Network. So we're gonna go ahead and screen share that. Like I said, this is all fair use, fair use, fair use. Just want to say that so I don't get any copyright things or people just think I'm just using their material just to use their material. Now this is all fair use. So let's see. I don't know why I'm getting. Is that not his? That must be his old Twitter account. I never realized. Wow, I don't know why I did not realize that he. No, this is right. I don't know why they sent me back to that. That's weird. All right, so let's go ahead and watch this video right here. It's about a minute and a half long. We'll talk about that, and then I'll talk about my thoughts on Jerry Jones.
Blockbuster trade for the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys, landing the Packers, maybe the best defensive player in the NFL, and the terms and the contract associated are massive. 2-1s go from the Packers to the Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons gets a 4-year, $188 million deal. 4 years, $188 million, $47 million per year. That is quarterback money, Tom. This deal done by David Mulugheta and Andre Odom of Athletes First. And this, of course, according to me and you and our good friend Jane Slater. And look, for the Dallas Cowboys, this ends a saga that has been going on for months and months and months. Ever since it became clear that there was nothing going to happen with the Cowboys and Micah Parsons moving forward, called him to a meeting. Jerry Jones tried to negotiate a deal with him. Without his agent, rubbed Parsons the wrong way. Parsons felt like the Cowboys were taking advantage of him. At that point, the relationship was broken. And my understanding is over the course of the past 3 or 4 days, the Cowboys engaged with the Packers. They struck a deal about 2 days ago. And then in secrecy, the Green Bay Packers and David Mulugheta, who's Micah Parsons' agent, who the Cowboys did not negotiate with, struck this deal. Micah Parsons is now a Green Bay Packer. Those are real words, Tom, and that is very, very true.
So that came from a network, and that came from Ian Rappaport, what he reported. And so that's interesting. So this deal has been done for 2 days. That's interesting news to know. They kept it in secrecy, and I'm pretty sure they kept it in secrecy to make sure that Micah was going to sign an extension. Now that's kind of crazy that they brought in another agent to negotiate this deal. I don't know what the deal with that is. Maybe we'll get more of that. Maybe we won't. But it's interesting. I wonder if they got the deal done, send it to the league's office, got approved, or it was kind of an under the table deal. And they wanted to make sure Micah was actually going to agree to the terms and conditions to the contract with the Green Bay Packers before the Green Bay Packers go ahead and greenlit it. And I'm pretty sure Jerry Jones is the exact same way. And the reason why I say that, or why the one or two ways, I think is the latter, what I just said. And the reason why I say that is because that's what it kind of seems like. Could be wrong. We don't know the full details of, how long this deal, we know how long this deal has been made, right? Trade deals happens, they get made, hey, it's a done deal, and then the league offices have to approve it, which we usually don't hear any rebuttals unless somebody doesn't submit it, or maybe they turn around and be like, nah, we don't want that trade no more. So I think the Green Bay Packers made sure that Micah was going to sign the contract before they went ahead and got the seal of approval from the NFL league's offices. So that's what I think that what happens. Now, Jerry Jones, my thoughts on Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is one of those guys that is stuck in the past, okay? And I say that because when Jerry Jones became, let me get a drink of water real quick. When Jerry Jones became the owner of the Dallas Cowboys were in a real tough situation. And Jerry Jones' first year, they went 1-15. 1-15. He got a lot of heat for firing Tom Landry, who at the time was the only head coach in Dallas Cowboys history. And he brings in Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson got two. Got the back-to-back. The famous clip of Emmitt Smith saying back-to-back how sweet it is. And then the ego clash with Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones, that brings in Switzer. Switzer wins another one for Jerry Jones. So within the first 7 years, okay, Jerry Jones won 3 Super Bowls in his first 7 years as the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, a part of him probably like, not even probably like, a part of him was like, this shit is sweet. Because one of the things that split up Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones was Jerry Jones publicly saying to everybody at the league meetings and people who was listening is that I can bring in any coach and win a Super Bowl. And let's be honest here. That happened. That indeed did happen. Jimmy Johnson left. Jerry Jones bring in Barry Switzer. Super Bowl. So I think ever since the moment that Barry Switzer won Jerry Jones a Super Bowl, the last time the Dallas Cowboys are in the Super Bowl, the last time the Dallas Cowboys made it past the the division round, or the year, or the second to last time that happened to them. Jerry Jones has gone around believing that he can load this team with talent based off the name of the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, whatever you want to call it. And I can bring in any coach in here that's going to coach me, my team, my investment, my control, my decisions into a Super Bowl. And we've seen that the way he's negotiated contract with coaches, the way he's negotiated contract with players, the fact that he has not hired a general manager not named his son, the fact that he is the general manager, the fact that he gives advice, how he runs the Cowboys, he gives that advice to any owner that is after him, like as in recently purchased a team. He tried to do that shit with Jimmy Haslam. We see how that went. I think he tried to take Shad Khan under his wing. He tried to take the new Washington owner under his wing a little bit, not too much. But Jerry Jones has had this air of arrogance of, I can win a Super Bowl with any coach as long as I field the team. As long as I give him the recipe, I give him everything else, I this coach will bring me a Super Bowl. We saw him do it with Wade Phillips. We saw him do it with Bill Parcells. We saw him do it with Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett, and now he probably believes that with Brian Schottenheimer. And it's like, dude, it's been 30 years. It's hard to believe. It's been 30 years, or almost 30 years, since last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. But I would sit back and say the two worst things. Everybody talks about the number one worst thing that happened to the Cowboys was losing Jimmy Johnson. The second worst thing, and I think the more importantly worst thing, that really the worst thing to happen to the Cowboys franchise was winning that third Super Bowl. Was winning that Super Bowl with Barry Switzer. Who knows what Jerry Jones' mindset would be if Jerry Jones never got that Super Bowl out of Barry Switzer? Because remember, when Jimmy Johnson came in originally, Jimmy Johnson had say and control over the roster, and Jerry Jones slowly started to integrate himself into that and started to take it away. And we even know about Jimmy Johnson being told by Jerry Jones, "You talk to me when the cameras are on." Remember, the Cowboys were one of the first teams to bring in cameras into the draft room, and every time the cameras are on, it's gonna look like you're gonna make it look like you're talking to me about this deal, even though I'm the one in control. And Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson both agree that they both admit that, hey, I originally hired Jimmy Johnson. I came here with the knowledge and the agreement that I was going to have control over this roster. And when Jerry Jones didn't have a yes man, Jerry Jones has decided to hire yes men forever. Forever. As long as Jason Garrett was a well-known yes man. Mike McCarthy, yes man. Bill Parcells ain't play that shit. That's why he lasted 3 years. Wade Phillips, was like, I'm not being a yes man to this shit. So it's like really after Wade Phillips, for real, that like Barry Switzer was kind of a yes man, like, okay, yeah, it is what it is. But Parcells ain't play that crap. Wade Phillips ain't play that crap. But ever since after Wade Phillips, he has gotten coaches that he can make sure that's going to agree and not cause a lot of controversy. That's not going to, both on and off the field, both behind closed doors and in front of everybody else. So Jerry Jones negotiates like this, and his philosophy is like this, and he thinks whatever money I offer is going to get him. We don't know the full details of why Micah decided not to take the deal, whether it was incentives, language in the contract. We don't know that part. We just, when we hear, oh, he turned down a contract, all we hear is years and money. We don't hear all the other stuff, the incentives, the other, we don't hear none of the other stuff that are in these contracts. Okay. We don't hear it. You know, we might occasionally hear a no trades clause, but we don't hear what's offered. Even like a contract that was offered and they turned it down, we don't hear that. And Jerry Jones, in one of the videos we just reviewed, He said himself, if the world knew what I offered him, you would think, why wouldn't he want to be a Cowboy? Well, what was the deal, Jerry? Because you can manipulate it to where it's years and dollars, but there was something in the negotiation, whether it was something, whether it was the fully guaranteed money, whether it was the incentives, maybe whatever the language in the contract, it was something that Micah didn't like, and maybe yo ass proceeded not to budge. Because ever since you won the Super Bowl with Barry Switzer, you have had this belief that as long as I pick the produce, the chef is going to cook me a 3-star Michelin meal. And that's not the case. That's why the Cowboys are the way they are. Are they the most valued team? Yes. Are they one of the most popular teams? Partially because the NFL keeps pushing it. But overall, yes. But Jerry, y'all have not made it to the conference championships game since like 1995, 1996. Y'all haven't. And you have been the general manager since you got rid of Jimmy Johnson. Your son might have the title, but we all know your son don't. We all know Steven don't do anything. We already know that. And I'm gonna tell you who the happiest people right now is Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, is Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders, and is whoever the quarterback gonna be for the next 4 years, and the New York Giants. That's who happy. So everybody is happy in the NFC East, but you. And like we showed, you had the 28th ranked defense. You were 31st in points allowed per game last year, and you just traded away your generational defensive edge rusher. You just traded him away for 2 first-round picks and an interior defensive lineman. And whatever you do with those 2 first, congratulations, you got 2 first. You still have to pick the right players with those 2 first. And not to mention, with Green Bay becoming was already a really good team, a very good team, becoming one of the premier teams with this trade, now you have to realize that those 2 number ones are going to be very low draft picks. I'm not talking about 15, 16. I'm not even talking about 23, 24. We're talking about in between the range of 27 and 32. The Green Bay Packers, I predicted to go 10-7 before all of this went down. Earlier this month, 10-7 Green Bay Packers. They're going 13-4. They're going 14-3, especially if Micah stays healthy. They added weapons on the offense. They have a good offensive line. They were a top 5 defense last year, and they just added a top 5 defensive player onto a top 5 defense. Time will tell who actually wins this trade. I don't think this is going to be a bust. Micah Parsons is not one of those guys that, again, I got my contract. I'm cool now. I don't think he's one of those guys. Is it going to take him some time to adjust? Yes. Do I think he plays a lot in the first game? Time will tell. We'll see. I kind of don't see it, since it'll be like a week and a half after this ordeal. Like their first game is a week and a half away. So it might be limited that first game. Who knows? But Micah almost made $20 million on this contract. And the Green Bay Packers, top 5 defense, Jordan Love, adding weapons, good offensive line. And we're unsure about Minnesota. Detroit might fall off, losing both coordinators. I didn't think about that at the time that I recorded my NFC North preview. And the Chicago Bears is too inexperienced and too young and not ready. Green Bay Packers, with this deal, I remember saying that I didn't see a lot of teams competing with the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC. I didn't see a lot. I think the NFC Championship game is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. I really, really do. I really, really do. And if I'm not mistaken, the Green Bay Packers do play the Dallas Cowboys this year. Week 4. in Dallas, and it's already a Sunday night football game. It's not a lot of games that I'm like, hey, must see, get your popcorn ready. This game just became must see, get your popcorn ready. This is Tyrell from the Nosebleeds signing off. Have a good night.